All right, fellow TIs. Making this video to to inform people of what they may not be aware of, what's currently going on in the with the state of affairs, what's happening currently within the world itself. Okay, looks like Jeff Center's got something. Jeff Center's got something going on. Definitely check out that channel. He's got great content. But anyway. As you all may have noticed, in California, you had the wildfires. Recently, not too long ago, I was planning on actually making myself a boat and heading out for the Gulf of Mexico. Strangely enough, there's been a recent hurricane not too long ago that passed through that area. I tried going to the Gulf of Mexico. What happened was that the perps basically sabotaged the whole thing of me going there, pretty much. As you all may have already realized, I mentioned that I needed a truck to get there in order to move the supplies to the Mississippi River, and they made certain that I didn't get that, and they even taunted the idea of having several trucks, drive around me or whatever. But yeah, that's just one of the things that they do. They usually do anything. Even if you mention something else, don't be surprised if they turn around and do it anyway. That's not the point. The point is to always just ignore them, ignore their tactics, and then just move on with your life as best as you can, if at all possible. But as some of you may have noticed, they're using heat-based attacks on one side of the continent, and they're using attacks on the other side. All of this is weaponized warfare through DEW weaponry. So on the other side, like the right side, that's all hurricanes, all cool air. Now these two temperatures mixing up is forming what's going to be the correlation of what they're going to need for a massive DEW weapon. This is one of the reasons why I was telling TIs definitely get off the grid. I would not recommend anybody to buy any of those new phones, okay? None of the new tech. You don't want any of that stuff. I'm telling you, because that stuff has been integrated to be able to be attached to the new network that they have installed. You do not want to be around that network. You do not want to have anything attached to that network, and you especially do not want to have any kind of technology that has something related to that network at all. None. And I'm telling you this for your own good. Even it's for my own good as well. Now, in this case, you already heard on on news broadcasts, as I'm sure you've already have. They're talking about they're going to have vaccinations ready by next month. Here's the deal. The fact that they say I was told by a family member, and I'm not gonna mention who, that they saying, well, vaccinations won't be mandatory, but they're hinting at it. They're constantly talking about it. They're also constantly talking about permanent lockdown and stuff, which is another reason why you don't want to be in the city. The other reason why you don't want to be in the city, because they've already started the blackouts. This has been happening quite over a few in different cities and different areas, and it's already just recently happened into the Gulf as I speak. I'm watching the news broadcast now in some of the areas, some of the docking locations out there. They've lost power, and they've even found multiple places being destroyed out there as a result to this weaponized warfare that's going on. This is definitely the time for TS to start gathering up, without a doubt, man. Considering what all that's going on, this is definitely the time. Now, I understand. I truly understand the significance of the situation. There are perps who basically, will try to infiltrate the groups. But here's the deal. Once you start to recognize their behavioral patterns, you start to understand. You're able to point them out quite easily, actually, without them even having to do anything sinister. It's when you realize these characteristic traits that these perps have that you start able to actually realize what's going on. This is why I said camera glasses really work well, for the simple fact that if you were to catch them in the midst of something, perp like, well then that works in your favor. However, we can't, we can't really spend time pointing a finger, this and this. We can't really be doing that because it's not the time to be fighting and bickering amongst ourselves. This is the time for us to start working together to actually make some achievements, make stuff happen, and actually be able to move forward from here on out. Because time is of the essence, and with each passing day, we're running out of time. Um, now I'm gonna go ahead and just Tony was talking about this. If you haven't seen the other channel that they're using to put his news, his radio station broadcast on, this should be on the Mischievous Sims channel. I believe I have a link to that channel somewhere in there. You should be able to find it. Some of you probably already have found it already though if you've been there. But anyway, the current situation with the whole thing that's going on is it's just like, and the only reason why I'm bringing up Tony anyway, because he said something that made a lot of sense. They're planning on basically the same thing that they've been using on all us TIs. Now you got to really think about it. This is why I've been telling fellow TIs, like, don't be consuming stuff like high fructose corn syrup. Don't be eating all the processed foods that they've had. Don't be doing any of this stuff. Don't, because a lot of that stuff has stuff in it that you really don't want to be eating. It's just not good for you at all. It really isn't. I had tested this out, and I only drank like a simple can of tea that had high fructose corn syrup in it. Not recently, but this was a while ago. And I'm gonna keep mentioning this too because it's very important. People, this is after I started detoxing this stuff out of my system. I only drank one can, and I felt terrible. Felt like I literally. It felt like, and what was worse, I had to work that same day I did this. It felt like I had already went through a whole day's of work, like a 12-hour shift, just from drinking that single can. There are people out there who are eating a lot of this processed stuff. There are people who are doing a lot of this stuff, man, and it's just not good for their health. It's not good for any of the things that that's going on in their lives, and in the end, that's what's going to be their downfall. Because once they turn this stuff on, especially with the stuff they're spraying out there, everything that they're doing, they're going to get the worst of it. They're going to get the worst of it, and then you know what they're going to do? You know what they're going to think? They're going to think that this is actually that pandemic thing that they've been coming out with. They're going to think, but they're not going to think of it as a pandemic. They're going to think about it as something, something real, something serious. Get the wrong idea because of the lack of information that they don't have. They don't know too much of what's going on. There are some people waking up, but I've been finding people who still don't know, anything about the channels that are talking about this stuff. And this is where it comes to. They are heavily suppressing this stuff, man. If you really, really want to start waking people up, you got to get the word around, man, around every state, from around every town, from around every village, about what's really happening. Because if we don't do, we still have a little bit of time to still make sure that gets done. But like, if it's not done, man, I just don't know what to say about it. And it doesn't make anything any better because a lot of people they're dedicated to a lot of things that are going on, and I get that. I get it. But at the same time, by the end, by next month, I guarantee you this what's going to happen. They're gonna, this whole trend of the whole power cutting off, this whole thing of the mass control over the televised stuff. And I'm telling you, today is the first day that I have watched television in over maybe 8 or 6 years, possibly. And I'm talking about not just seeing somebody else have a TV on, but I mean actually just watching a television on my own terms, not something that somebody just so happens to have turned on. I mean, me physically getting up, grabbing the remote and turning it on. And half the stuff I've seen on here already, I'm like, something, comparing what they're showing on here and comparing what I've seen, yeah, they're trying to basically dysfunction a lot of people. A lot. And then it's when you're actually woke that you actually start to see a lot of this crap for what it is. You start to realize that how much bullshit is being put out there on the mainstream media, and you're able to actually see through all of that. You know, anything as far as history, they're not going to tell people the real history. When it comes to anything related history wise, they definitely f with it in a way to where they don't want people to know the truth. They just want people knowing a fabricated truth that they created, and that's the bottom line. You can't take TV seriously anymore, man. You just can't, because of how much corruption is out there and stuff like that. You just can't. I'm in the midst of where I really I'm really just dedicated to just getting this junk out of my system. And let me tell you something. I did one thing that basically actually forced their hand. I'm not gonna say what that something is, but I'd say by the end of the week they'll probably figure out what it is. But by then it's gonna be too late. Once later on, I maybe like later today or tomorrow, I will go into detail about what that something is. But let me just tell you something. Let me just tell you this. When I actually performed this thing, when I actually did it, I constantly got zapped because of what I did. I constantly got zapped because of it, because it was really messing with their tech. It really was. And the problem is that like I can easily get this stuff out of my system. I just need the right requirements. Once all requirements are met, then I'll be able to immediately eject this stuff out. Now, I know, TIs, you would want to hear what these details are. I cannot go into details now due to my current, to my current situation at the moment. But I promise you, I will soon, because I know a lot of people could definitely use this information. But at the same time, there's always a time. There's a time for everything. There truly is. I highly recommend people to maybe utilize the methods I had on these channels to help themselves out as best you can. The what is that? As far as detoxing heavy metals in your diet, I guess I can give some pointers out on that. Activated charcoal is good for that. But you want to find like the real bare minimum of raw end material that can actually do this naturally. Like something that can something that would naturally just grow out there. Those things stuff like that tends to have a more massive effect. And no, I'm not talking about something just like genetically modified or engineered in any way. I'm saying the potency. You got to think about it from this perspective. The potency of certain things are heightened in a certain type of way. Sometimes manufactured products, they tend to actually have high potency due to high ends of concentration of its substance, right? So it tends to be more concentrated, therefore more potent. And sometimes, like the potency cannot be of the plant cannot be exceeded due to certain circumstances. Meaning, it's like you could have more and more of the same, but its effects are not as effective in a different in a manufactured state. Like certain minerals within the item could get mixed around to where it basically devalues it instead of enriches it. I'm pretty sure you get what I'm talking about here. It's not everything that's like this, but there are just a few things out there that are like that. I shouldn't have to tell you to be careful with what you get out there nowadays, especially with what's going on. I have no idea what's gonna happen, but I know that they're planning on definitely shutting off the power of many different states or whatever. It's going to happen periodically too. It's going to happen, and when this does happen, when you see these areas where all these blackouts are happening at, whenever there's a power, the power just turns off. What do you think is happening the minute it shoots back on? And people, let me tell you something. One, on my way of getting into Texas, what I saw in one of the areas that I passed, this was at a Greyhound station. I saw a Wi-Fi access point for 5G. No joke. Just randomly right there. Just right there. Just as soon as I basically, went up there. And I made sure I took a screenshot of it. I still got it. Um, man, though, I tell you this much. I was not. Hang on, is it really just 2:42? Is that right? Strange. I thought it was actually a bit later than that, but I guess I was mistaken. Or am I not mistaken? Because I'm seeing two different times here. Maybe they're messing with the clock. Because I see 2:42 on this thing, and I'm seeing 3:42 a.m. on the other thing. So they could be messing with the time on here, most likely. Um, if you're wondering why they would do something like that, it's to throw you off. It's definitely to throw you off. But there are ways to get around that to actually figure out, like what the actual time is. And I'm probably am gonna check out on that. It could be the clock hasn't adjusted, but then again, that could be wrong too. Um, man, dude, all those people that are going through that mess right now, and it's bad. It's really bad because they're turning. They got everybody in masks. They're shutting off the power with all of this weaponized. You, you see, they're trying to basically use the weather as an excuse to shut it off. And then once it's refixed and reintegrated, then that tech is already turned on by then. They gotta shut it off before they can turn it on. So these areas that that have their power cut off, if you're in one of them, I highly suggest you to get out of there. I can't even stress that enough. I'm telling you this for your own good, to get out of there because that is not gonna be good at all, man. You see, and people see just how much mess is going on, like with the riots, with the all the looting, and it gets even worse with them letting the prisoners out of the prisons, and they're trying to put regular citizens in the prisons. Yeah, and the whole reason for letting them out doesn't really make any sense. They tried to use the sympathetic meaning, saying, well, we can't social distance. When I first saw that video, when I first saw it, I'm like, wait a minute, because I made another video after that. I'm like, hold on a minute. This organization has been known to hire criminals, right? Information doesn't, understand people. Certain information, if they really don't want out, it's not gonna get out. Remember, that's a damn smartphone that guy has. That's a smartphone, okay? That is not a flip phone, but a smartphone that he had. Do you really think the government didn't know he had that shit? Do you really think that, and who works for the government? The police, right? Do you really think that they did not know he had that phone? And only some people are gonna, know what video I'm talking about. It was basically the one where he started showing a lot of, this guy started showing the black tent outside of the that place. I don't doubt that they probably are getting rid of some of those prisoners. But I guarantee you, this is probably what it is. Anybody with like less anything like less like offenses are probably being executed there, and anybody with like the most vile of crimes are probably being released. This is happening during the whole mass pandemic situation. It's pandemic that's going on, as well as a situation to where A lot of people are, us people there have been numerous amounts of kidnappings going on, and the news has yet to be talking about that. I haven't really been, I don't really watch the news, but I have yet to see anything show up on even YouTube itself talking about that. I've only seen two videos, and I guarantee you that's only the ones that have been recorded. Can you imagine the situations of the things that happened that were not recorded? Yeah, that's how bad it is. I shouldn't have to tell people, be very careful of where you take your family, especially in public, very very crowded areas, because they are going after both women and kids, dude. They're going after both of them with this mess. You don't believe me? Look at these fucked up laws they're trying to pass. Just look at the messed up laws that these people in office are trying to get passed. Some of these bills and stuff, and it's just like, what the heck is going on? Like, how is that even debate, even brought up as in a debate at all? Like, that should have been thrown out the minute it was even mentioned. You know. Then it doesn't help the fact that most all the TIs are going through all of this manipulation with this technology. To all TIs out there, I feel your pain. I've been through quite a lot myself. I felt how bad these things can be. Um, I still wish to help as many TIs as possible out there. Uh, man, oh wow, I got thunderstorms today. Maybe not today. I don't know. Looks like the weather's picking up down here. What is that? Wednesday? Yeah, thunderstorms today. Oh man, the same day I gotta head out too. Wow. Okay, so anyway, I guess I'm probably gonna leave this video here. Not really much I wanted to go over, but I wanted to at least address these situations that are happening so people know what's going on. If you're wanting to know about the testing that they got going on, yeah, don't do that, because that on the end of those stems that they're sticking up your nose, that all the way up to their brain, there's a small dosage of activated nanotech. People who got that, dude, why do you think they're doing that? Think about it. There, and this is what I was talking about. Like, there are certain parts. There's certain types of nano. There's inactive nano, and then there's active nano. The active nano is just like when they poison you, and a lot of these radio signals are coming from this stuff. To people who are not TIs, I'm gonna give you fair warning on what to be mindful of. If you taste anything that it feels like there's static around it, like it's some, it may seem like it's kind of like spicy, but like metallic in taste a little bit. Spit that crap out and immediately wash your mouth out with baking soda, anything like that, because I'm telling you, that stuff is meant to basically, yeah. And you don't have to take my word for it. Just look at the documentation. Look at some of the links I provided in some of my previous videos, and you'll see it just for yourself. Um, Many people are scared about the situation, so they basically just go in line with this organization with what it's doing. Some people don't really care, and some people just accept the money. TIs, I've actually caught footage of a perp walking up to a Greyhound station attendant. I've caught evidence of this happening. Real time, too, by the way. He walks up to him saying, I'll pay you $20 to do this, this, and this. Cash. And I'm just like, there's no way I did not just catch this evidence. Like, there's no way, dude. There's no freaking way I just caught that. I've yet to post that video. It wouldn't be the only devastating thing I've caught. And let me tell you something. It wouldn't be the only devastating I caught. Even some of the stuff I caught on audio was just as surprising, and it's just too damn obvious. It's way too obvious, and it really just goes to show you, like, just the desperism behind a lot of the mess that's going on. But man, anyway, that's gonna be it for this video. I'm sending my love and my prayers out there to everybody, hoping everybody's doing as best as they can. Stay as safe as you can. Remember, things are pretty bad out there. If you don't have any type of form of protection at all, I highly recommend you to maybe get some mace. Always, non-lethal is always the best, most likely the best way to go. But always remember, you also can use your words to basically talk a situation down. But that does not mean you shouldn't be ready for just about anything. You know, we're at that time where things are getting way too out of hand. As you know, they're planning on defunding the police and a whole lot of stuff. Well, they're trying to defund the police, basically. But anyway, as always, stay safe, stay strong, everybody.